I'm gonna design a movie poster for each zodiac sign. In part 1, we created the posters for 6 signs, but like any other good sequel, the story is not yet over. We are only halfway through. So, grab your popcorn because it's time to finish this design challenge. We're jumping straight back in with Aquarius. As I mentioned in part 1, I had zero to no knowledge about astrology. So for this challenge, I needed a lot of help and a lot of research. And while doing research for Aquarius, something that had me in disbelief was that this isn't a water sign.
Can't believe it. I'm in disbelief.
This is an air sign and is represented by a person pouring water from a jug. And Aquarius can be humanitarians, dreamers, and unconventional. While doing this illustration, the concept of flow came to my mind. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described this term as a state of being completely present and fully immersed in a task. I wanted to figure out a way to combine both the elements of air and water, and I was given the idea of making the main character levitate. And this is how the final piece turned out. Next on the list, we have Taurus. This is an earth sign, is represented by a bull, and they can be dependable, stubborn, and loyal. There are times when I have a clear idea of what I want to illustrate, but this wasn't that case. So I had to do a couple of sketches and play around with different colors to figure out what was the main idea that I wanted to communicate. Once I found that clarity, I started refining the shapes, adding more colors, shadows, and details. And this poster is a bit special to me because I'm a Taurus. For the text, I tried out a different layout than the ones I've been doing previously, and this is how it turned out. The next sign we're going to illustrate is Cancer. This is a water sign. It's represented by a crab, and they can be protective, sensitive, and homely, as in hermit crab. Someone wrote that joke on my YouTube short and I thought it was genius. As I was searching for inspiration, I came across this beautiful illustration from the New Yorker, and I wanted to create something similar. The way I interpret this illustration is like the iceberg theory. In an iceberg, only a small part is visible above water. If we hide this part of the illustration, which is the visible part for most people on this beach, we only see a person sitting on a rock. But the full story, the deeper meaning, lies beneath the surface. Once I had the sketch ready, I started adding shapes, colors, shadows, and details. And this is how the final poster turned out. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, you can subscribe to my channel for similar content. Okay, let's continue. Gemini. This is an earth sign represented by a set of twins, and Geminis can be adaptable, intellectual, and curious. For Gemini, I had a couple of different ideas of what I wanted to create. The first idea had to do with mirrors, like maybe someone looking at their reflection and their reflection coming out of the mirror. But I wasn't fully convinced with that concept. So I was given a second idea of adding portals to the illustration. The concept is similar to some TV shows like Dark and Stranger Things, where there's a parallel dimension. I did a couple of sketches, and once I had the one I was happy with, I started adding shapes, colors, shadows, and details. And then I did the upside down with inverted colors. And this is how the final poster turned out. The next poster we're going to do is Libra. This is an air sign, and they can be harmonious, charismatic, and aesthetically inclined. Libra is represented by a pair of scales, symbolizing balance and harmony. I wanted to draw something that represented the same thing, but without having to draw scales. So I was given the idea of drawing someone who has mastered the art of rock balancing. Halfway through the illustration, I decided to start over because the rule I mentioned in part 1 was that each poster has to be eye-catching. If this was in a movie theater, it should compel you to go watch the film. And right now, it's not looking interesting enough to me. So I tried the same initial concept but with a different composition, and visually it's already looking more interesting than the first one. This is how the final poster for Libra turned out. There's one more sign left, but before we get to that, I wanted to mention that I just opened my print store. If you want to get any of these prints, you can check out the link in the description. We're going to end this challenge with Leo. This is a fire sign. It's represented by a lion. And some words we can use to describe Leos are that they can be confident, charismatic, and drawn to the spotlight. Something that I find interesting is that there are signs that has rulers. Cancer is ruled by the moon and Leo is ruled by the sun. So I wanted this one to have a sun like the spotlight and really bright colors between the characters. Since this one is the last drawing, I wanted to experiment. So I played around with different poses for the character, different poses for the lion, and for the text, I played around rotating the letters, and this is how it turned out. Thank you all for watching, and I also wanted to say thanks to those who has been following this series on YouTube Shorts. This is genuinely one of my favorite projects that I've ever done. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite poster, and I'll see you in the next one.